So welcome everyone. We're about to start this evening's reflection and guided meditation. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Dhammam Sangham Namasami. So tonight I'm going to be speaking, doing a reflection on the four great elements. And I've got an extract from one of the suttas that has a teaching on the four great elements. And this is in the middle length discourses. It's the first discourse in the middle length discourses, the Majjhima Nikaya. And it's just a brief extract. So the four great elements at the time of the Buddha were considered gods or forces in nature. And still today we're considering them forces of nature. And in the sutta, the Buddha explains how we should regard the four great elements as well as different realms of existence, higher realms of existence, and what the learned disciple and the unlearned disciple, how they consider it. But I'm going to just start with the disciple and higher training, and this will be the Sotapanna, the once returner and the non-returner, and what they've how they understand and what they still, the work they still need to be done. So this is a little bit of description before I start in reading the extract. So I believe the sutta, I didn't write down the name of the sutta. It's the root of all things, I think, is this is the disciple in higher training. And I've edited it to be gender inclusive. A person who is in higher training, whose mind has not yet reached the goal, and who is still aspiring to the supreme security from bondage, directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, which one should not conceive oneself as earth. One should not conceive oneself in earth. One should not conceive oneself apart from earth. One should not conceive earth to be mine. One should not delight in earth. Why is that? Because one must fully understand it, I say. One directly knows water as water. One directly knows fire as fire. One directly knows air as air. Having directly known air as air, one should not conceive oneself as air. One should not conceive oneself in air. One should not conceive oneself apart from air. One should not conceive to be air to be mine. One should not delight in air. Why is that? Because one must fully understand it, I say. And then he continues through the various realms up to the all as all. And then the Seika also directly knows Nibbana as Nibbana. And having directly known Nibbana as Nibbana, they should not do these things as mentioned before, conceive themselves as Nibbana, in Nibbana, apart from Nibbana. And one should not conceive that Nibbana to be mine or delight in it. So this is a misconception, since the Seika has had the experience, direct experience of seeing Nibbana, but not fully understanding it yet, since they're still in training. But we're going to focus on the elements. So part of fully understanding four great elements is to understand them in terms of the three characteristics, and that all conditioned things should be understood as impermanent, as suffering, and non-self. So that extract in the sutta did touch on that. So in various senses of self, earth, in relation to earth, should not conceive oneself as earth. That would be a sense of self, which should not conceive oneself in earth. One should not conceive earth as mine. And delight in it would be a cause of suffering because it's impermanent. So I'm going to read through that again, just so we can get a little sense of that again. A person who is in higher training, whose mind has not yet reached the goal, and who is still aspiring to the supreme security from bondage, directly knows earth as earth. Having directly known earth as earth, one should not conceive oneself as earth. One should not conceive oneself in earth. One should not conceive oneself apart from earth. One should not conceive earth to be mine. One should not delight in earth. Why is that? Because one must fully understand it, I say. One directly knows water as water. One directly knows fire as fire. One directly knows air as air. Having directly known air as air, one should not conceive oneself as air. One should not conceive oneself in air. One should not conceive oneself apart from air. One should not conceive air to be mine. One should not delight in it. Why is that? Because one must fully understand it, I say. So now I'm going to lead a guided meditation with a little bit of explanation first on the elements as taught. It's found in the commentaries, and many current teachers today use this method of for contemplating the body. Well, or the four great elements, actually, both internally and externally, can be contemplated or experienced, actually directly experienced in this way. So the direct experience of the four great elements of earth, water, fire, and air help us understand them in terms of these characteristics, the three characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So internally is the body, one's own, what we consider our body, and externally is everything outside of the body, all matter outside of the body. So we start out in a seated position, and the experience, if you can sit upright, it's great. we experience the body in terms of the earth as heavy and light. The weight, the solidity of the body is experienced as heavy and light. So feeling the weight of the body, experiencing the contact of the body against the floor. And the arms resting, the hands resting on whatever is supporting them. So the lightness of the hands and the fingers can be experienced. So heaviness, lightness, earth element. And also the hardness of the body, the nails, the teeth. Can experience the teeth, the touching one another, hardness. The softness of the body, fleshiness of the body. You might feel the arms against the thigh. Anywhere you can feel the softness of the body. And there's also the roughness and smoothness, which the roughness, can you feel the edges of the teeth as rough, maybe with your tongue. Just get a sense of the roughness. And the smoothness, maybe I often feel with the cloth against my skin, a sense of smoothness of also the skin. So you can explore the body in terms of heaviness, lightness, hardness, roughness. Hardness, softness, excuse me, roughness, smoothness. This is earth, earth element. This is not mine. I am not it. This is not myself. Heaviness, lightness, hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness. This is earth, experience of earth. Then moving to the water element. Water element has two qualities, moisture and cohesion. You can feel the moisture in your mouth, the saliva. And the moisture in your eyes. Under your eyelids. You might feel a little moisture in your nasal passages, your nose, and the surface of the skin. Also the cohesiveness of the body, kind of stretchiness, body held together by moisture. Moisture, cohesion. Water element. Should be seen with wisdom. This is not mine. I am not it. This is not myself. Then moving to the fire element, the heat produced by metabolism, the warmth of the body. Experiencing the warmth escaping from the body. Heat beneath your clothing, but also the coolness, warmth or coolness of the air surrounding us. So heat and coolness. This is the experience of the fire element. The body always adjusting to keep an even temperature. Heat and coolness. The experience of fire element. Fire element is simply fire element. And it should be understood with wisdom thus. This is not mine. I am not it. This is not myself. Then moving to air, also called wind. Primarily, this is the in and out breathing, the expanding and contracting of the abdomen, the body, the lungs pushing out, the sides and the front of the body. As air moves in, and then the contraction as the air moves out, the pushing and pulling of the abdomen. The air moving in and out of the body, the expansion and the contraction with that movement. Feel the belly rising and falling. Even the subtle movement of the whole body, the upper body. You might even feel it in the legs. Movement, expansion, contraction. This is air or wind. The air element is simply air element and should be understood with proper wisdom. This is not mine. I am not it. This is not myself. Air element. With the air element, there's this constant exchange internally, externally, as with the other three great elements. The body is always producing and losing heat. always producing and losing moisture. And the same with the earth element. Always exchange of elements. So I invite you to experience the weight of the body, heaviness, lightness, simply earth, hardness, roughness, hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, simply earth. Moisture, cohesion, simply water. Heat and coolness. simply fire. Movement of the pushing and pulling of the air element. And for the last 20 minutes, you can explore the body in terms of the four elements. Choose one or go through all four. And we'll sit in silence. Now, as we're coming towards the end of the period, I'd like you to reflect back. How was this? What did I just experience? Was I ever able to get a sense of the elements? Was I able to stay with the meditation? How is my mind and body now compared to how it was at the beginning of this period? Now we can put our palms together and dedicate the merit of this practice we've done together. May all beings be happy, all beings, including ourselves. May all beings be well. May all beings be peaceful and know the true peace of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we'll close with the homage to the triple gem. So we're going to turn towards the Buddha. If you have an image in your own home, you can, if you care to, join us in bowing towards the Buddha or the one on the screen you see here. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namah. Thank you again for joining us.